Hello, everyone. It's your host, Jay Miller. This is the X's and O's NFL podcast. All right. So, man, it's great to be back. That felt so good. Yeah, I'll be working on getting graphics and sound clips and everything together for the upcoming season. We're going to do a couple shows in this off season. Obviously, this is the first of them. The Jets beer has returned, even though the Jets are really not doing anything today. They don't have the free agency budget to be doing that. But yeah, no. So legal tampering period, NFL free agency. We'll do a draft show at some point in time, maybe reaction to the draft show afterwards, but maybe something live during the draft. Probably on Wednesday, I'll sit down and I'll do a recap of free agency as a whole, because that'll be the day that people will be officially signing the contracts. As we have seen a few times in the past, not everything that is done today gets finalized on Wednesday. So yeah, we'll see if anything happens. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything like other than 2 years ago, J.D. McKissick was like signed by Buffalo during the legal tampering day, and then ended up remaining with Washington when the time actually came. So there's one off the top of my head. I don't know how many times it happens, to be completely honest, but yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of fun today. We're gonna be recapping all that's been going along since noon at this point in time. We'll probably focus on the last hour first, and then work our way back in the day. So yeah, the 5 to 6 stuff, and then we'll go back to noon. At some point in time, I believe around 6:30, I have Greydon joining me. I believe around 7 o'clock, I have Dave joining me. Hopefully, Josh shows up at some point in time. That would be pretty awesome. But besides that, I don't know who else is going to pop in. Hopefully someone else pops in. You right there. You can pop in. You can pop in and become part of what is going on today. So definitely looking forward to it. I see there is at least one viewer right now. Hello to the viewer. And there are no messages currently on the Facebook page. But thank you for tuning in and being a part of it. All right. So without further ado, let's go to Twitter and start seeing what I might have missed over the last 15 minutes or so. All right, what do we got? Boop, 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 boop. Looks like the most recent thing is still, yeah, the most recent thing is still the Frankie Louvu conversation that's going on. As for those who don't know, Panthers linebacker Frankie Louvu is now has a new home team with the Washington Commanders. I'm not 100% sure what will be going on with Cody Barton there, and or is Cody Barton still there? Now I have to double check because I'm starting to think maybe there's a chance that he's not. But the 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 Commanders defense is something that I'm really not sure what to think of. Obviously, moved a lot of pieces at the trade deadline last year with Chase Young and Montez Sweat no longer there. It'll be interesting to see how that whole linebacker room develops and what's going on with that defense this season. But uh, who knows? Now Frankie Louvu's in the mix too. Frankie Louvu, I feel, has been a better fantasy linebacker than an actual linebacker, but at the same time, if you follow the defensive side of football at all, Frankie Louvu to the Washington Commanders is a relatively significant move. So again, um, oh wow. No, Frankie Louvu is actually a good NFL linebacker. Frankie Louvu led all linebackers in both completion percentage allowed and oh what no, this is not a wait a minute. I'm trying to figure out if this is a good set or a bad set. Yeah, no. This is a this Louvu should definitely be an upgrade for their passing defense and yeah, no, definitely a good move for them. So who knows? Maybe it will work out. And yeah, let's jump on and see what else has been going on of recent. All right, I'm gonna go to the page of Ari Mirav because I feel that he does a really good job in covering everything, even like smaller positions that somebody might not be talking about. So that's my go-to on Twitter, but we'll also be looking at the NFL's Twitter, after Adam Schefter's Twitter, and Ian Rappaport's Twitter. Just to take it all in and to make sure we didn't miss anything at any point in time, given credit where credit is due. right now at this point in time. So yeah, this will probably be the first and last time I mention those names during the show. I see we have a second person tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this. So yeah, but going to the Twitter page, to the Twitter sphere. Oh, we know it's X. We're not going to call it X. We're going to call it Twitter. But yeah, some of the obviously a lot of major ones earlier today, but we'll get to all those. We'll just catch up with the first hour first, and then we'll get to all the major ones that happened earlier in today. The Browns have re-signed veteran pass rusher Zadarius Smith, so Zadarius Smith will still be opposite Myles Garrett on the Browns, so that's a good thing. Let's look at this. Obviously, Frankie Louvu has moved on. The Titans. It looks like the Titans will be taking Chidobe Awuzie from the Bengals. So he's a really good he's a really good cornerback, and honestly, the Titans could use a little more help in their secondary. So good pickup for the Titans there. Um, moving right along, going back in the day over the course of the last hour. Yeah, the those two both broke about a half hour ago. The Uze and the Zadarius news. So that's kind of cool. Free agent kicker Will Lutz has found a new home with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jaguars get an upgrade at kicker. The 49ers have brought in pass rusher Leonard Floyd to be part of that really good pass rush rotation. Honestly, I really like the move. We've seen Leonard Floyd flourish on lines with other superstar players. We've seen him do well alongside Aaron Donald. We've seen him with the Buffalo Bills this past year, the past few years in a great rotation. So I definitely like what Leonard Floyd can be done paired with Nick Bosa and company, and yeah. So let's see what happens as far as that goes. At the beginning of this hour, there was Gardner Minshew was signed. Was well, no one's officially signed yet. These are just all things that are in talks at this point in time that hopefully are official on Wednesday. But they've come to terms. They've come to terms with former Colts and Jaguars quarterbacks Gardner Minshew, and he will be he'll probably be a Raider this coming season. So yeah, I don't know what that does as far as Aiden O'Connell. I'm gonna guess that the plan is to move forward with Aiden O'Connell and have Minshew be his backup. But obviously a great insurance backup. Tuning over to the Facebook really quick. Oh, thank you, Stevie. Thank you, Stevie Arthur, for liking the post. I appreciate it. If you feel like sharing it out, you can definitely share it out. Thank you for those who are tuned in right now and watching. I can see that there's 4 people tuned in at this point in time. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, heading back, and yeah, the Buccaneers are also bringing back right about an hour ago. The Buccaneers are also bringing back Greg Gaines on a 1 year, $3.5 million contract. So to keep the center of their defensive line short up. All right, so we're going to go back to some of the big stuff that happened earlier today. As I scroll back all the way to noon, let's just talk about some of the major headlines. Where do we start? Do we start with Saquon Barkley to the Eagles? Do we start with Josh Jacobs to the Packers, or do we start with Kirk Cousins to the Falcons? Honestly, I'm not going to start with any of those because my favorite free agency move of today so far has been the Las Vegas Raiders picking up Christian Wilkerson to anchor the center of that line. Like seriously, Christian Wilkerson and Max Crosby on the same defensive line. That is, in my opinion, that's the most significant free agency move of the day. And I get it that for those of you who only follow offense and only appreciate offense, and for those who only play in offensive fantasy football leagues, that Christian Wilkins might not be that big of a news to you, but for me that's huge news because I appreciate all of football. Honestly, I appreciate the defensive side of the board ball more. So, but yeah, no, the pairing there it's going to be nightmares for opposing quarterbacks, and the Raiders needed help on defense. So Wilkins anchoring the center of that line is just going to create more opportunity for Max Crosby. And yeah, it's going to create more nightmares for opposing quarterbacks in a division where you need to get to those quarterbacks. Don't know who Denver's running with, but you still have Patrick Mahomes, you still have Justin Fields, and you need to get. I mean, I guess it doesn't help against Patrick Mahomes because there's going to be the holding penalties aren't going to be called, but uh, yeah. All joking aside, they were called a lot during the season. They just don't get called during the Super Bowl. We're not going to say anything more about that, though. This is not the show for that. But yeah, no, I definitely love the move. But where do we go from there? I just want to talk a moment about Saquon Barkley going to the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I definitely think that he will play a very prominent and featured role with the Eagles, but it's still a rotation. You still are going to lose stuff to Jalen Hurts, but this could be a very complimentary move. Honestly, I wouldn't shock me if it ended up being similar to the impact of a Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. Am I calling that? No, I'm not calling that because I frankly don't see it. But at the same time, I think that it's a really good. I think it's a really good pickup for the Eagles. I think it's a really good pickup, a good spot for Saquon. But I also think it's a little bit of a spiteful vengeance move on his part too. He's probably going to say something to the effect of going to a winning culture and take yeah, passive aggressive jabs at the Giants while doing that. But at the end of the day, we all kind of know that that Saquon went to the Eagles because he wants to because he really wants to stick it to the Giants and is bitter about the way the last few seasons have went. What about you? Hey, being joined by Greydon, the Don of Gray. So yeah, what do you think, Greydon? Saquon went to the Eagles just to stick it to the Giants, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And I personally believe that Aaron Jones might do the same thing. Well, like he might stick it to the Packers by keeping it in the same division.
To the Vikings, Aaron Jones to the Vikings. We would
Maybe.
love that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't, but
Too bad. Too bad. There's no quarterback to throw the ball to in Minnesota right now.
hey, who says they need a quarterback? You get Aaron Jones, you could just hike him the ball and they could just run it.
I guess so, but then you're going to have to keep Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hawkinson and everyone else, Jordan Addison, and everyone else happy. So
They have a backup, whoever that was.
yeah, I'm not even sure who the backup quarterback is right now, but I would have to suspect that the Vikings are planning on doing something with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
back position. So,
yeah.
but yeah,
Honestly,
no, yeah. So I mean, we're kind of in the middle of a conversation talking about both Saquon Barkley and Kirk Cousins right now. Do you have anything? We'll go to the full Kirk Cousins part of this, but do you have anything to say about the Saquon Barkley? My take was roughly that you know it is a move that's going to help make he's probably going to be more featured than DeAndre Swift was, so it's still a good move for Saquon Barkley, but he's obviously also going to be limited by Jalen Hurts and the fact that they kind of do things as a committee there. So,
mm-hmm.
but I think that he will add some explosiveness to the offense, similar to a way that not to the same impact, but similar to a way Christian McCaffrey added
Mm-hmm.
something to the 49ers. So I think that the move genuinely is a good one for the Eagles. And I think Saquon is partially right when he's telling you that he's going to do it because he wants to win. But I have to believe that there's a little take that Giants in the whole thing. So anything to add to that?
Honestly, what you said was actually right around what I was thinking myself. It was a little bit of, hey, I want to get paid, but also, hey, Giants, it's your chance to blow this or not. And honestly, they blew it. Like you had a guy who was willing to be a giant until his career was done in Saquon. You had a face of the franchise right there,
Yeah.
and now you let it go to
And now
your
you have
rival.
Devin Singletary. I love the
And no
graphic.
good. and no good pickups in the draft either.
I love the graphics that are comparing uh, the 2023 production of Devin Singletary to the 2023 production of Saquon Barkley, and they're kind of like, this guy's for 5 million, this guy's for 12.5 million. It's obvious and blah blah blah. It's kind of like Devin Singletary didn't have Saquon Barkley's offensive line last year, and yeah, no, this is he's not putting up those numbers again with this offensive line.
Correct.
It is, I honestly, I think it's an overall L for the Giants as far as today's concerned. I think they had a few smaller pickups, but they lost Xavier McKinney. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he went to the Green Bay
Yeah.
Packers,
Mm-hmm.
and they obviously lost Saquon Barkley too. But on the other end of that, obviously, in order to, we were comparing it. Well, somehow we segued to Kirk Cousins. I forget. We had a more natural segue before, but now we're just kind of like throwing it out there. It's like, hey, I hope it sticks. um, so let's get rid of that good natural segue we had before and do an unnatural one now. But yeah, no, Kirk Cousins, Atlanta Falcons, coming off the Achilles tendon surgery. What do you think?
And that's what gets me
A lot
is
of
that
money.
it's a lot of money for a guy who pretty much almost ended his career last year.
Yeah.
Because in Achilles, yes, you see Aaron Rodgers come back from it, but Aaron Rodgers is also superhuman. He's a robot. Like literally, discount double check whenever he goes like that across his waist is actually him just, it's like a lawnmower trying to start up. So,
Yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers has some sort of meditation
yeah.
or cave of silence or unknown experimental drug to help him get back.
Well, and you see, like,
They're not
for
things
some,
that Kirk Cousins is willing to do.
and in something like the Falcons, it's like, okay, like, why? You guys were what, the 8th overall pick? You guys could still have gotten a quarterback. You guys could still have gotten a quarterback. Well, there's
Well,
that number 1 pick over all that they could have gotten too, but we'll save that for later.
oh, Justin Fields trade conversations, but
Yeah. No,
yeah,
but I mean, Kirk
you don't
Cousins,
know
I
what's
mean,
going on.
is he worth that money? Yes. If it was still Kirk Cousins from a few years ago, not
Yeah,
Kirk
I
Cousins
mean,
come off of an Achilles.
and don't get me wrong, the coach has been upgraded. Um,
Yeah.
Desmond Ritter to Kirk Cousins is definitely an upgrade.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not gonna like this. This is clearly a good move for the Falcons,
Yeah.
but it also leaves you to scratch your head and wonder why, because it could backfire. You'd have to think there were
Mm-hmm.
safer options than Kirk Cousins. Like you still have a very young core. Um, it's you have Bijan on his rookie contract for another 3 years, another 2 years of London, and another 1 year of Pitts. So maybe they were just thinking that these contracts are expiring too quick to draft a rookie quarterback this year. So they wanted
Could very
something more
well be.
established.
Mm-hmm.
But unless you really think, well, I guess in theory, they're in that awful NFC South. So
Uh-huh.
this could be the difference between the Falcons being a playoff team or not now at this point in time. So yeah, no. So really, when it comes down to it, the Buccaneers have done a good job maintaining their guys. Gains in the center of the defensive line, and they brought back Baker and they brought back Mike Evans to an extension. But the Buccaneers, are not super active this free agency period so far. So really, when it comes down to it, this could be the thing that puts the Falcons over the Buccaneers. They weren't that far off last year, but at the same time, this isn't getting the Falcons to the NFC title game. It hit in a conference that has, minimum of the Eagles and the 49ers, not to mention a bunch of other teams that have done better so far this offseason and had better
Mm-hmm.
years last year. But again, um let's should we move on to another quarterback that was brought onto a new team yesterday, or should we just transition back to should we transition back to the Packers from the connection we have to the Vikings? Which way should we go right now?
Let's continue with that quarterback carousel.
Okay, so obviously Gardner Minshew, the biggest move of free agency so far, is with the
Yeah, I know.
Raiders. No, no, okay, he'll be backing up Aiden O'Connell unless Aiden O'Connell falls flat on his face. But really, yesterday, I'm not sure how this happens because we got the news yesterday instead of today that Russell Wilson plans on signing a deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But
Yeah.
somewhere in my mind, it's like, isn't today the first day of legal tampering? And then, oh wait, no, I'm sure actually because Russell Wilson was cut, he could have
Yeah.
been signed at any point. Okay, never mind. I'm redacting that right now. Yes, Russell Wilson was cut, so he could sign at any given point in time,
Yeah.
or could talk terms at any given point in time. So Russell Wilson to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yet another quarterback back of that class that's getting buried. Desmond Ritter
Mhm.
is getting buried behind Kirk Cousins. Kenny Pickett's getting buried behind Russell Wilson, and Malik Willis got buried last year. So
Or is this instead of getting buried behind Russ, or is this a training thing for Pickett?
honestly, I'm not sure. I wish I could tell you.
I
Um,
mean,
it feels optimistic to call it. When Mitch Trubisky is starting games and Kenny Pickett's not start healthy. Kenny Pickett's not starting over a Mason Rudolph. I'm kind of wondering if this is.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think you get what I'm saying. Like
Yes, yes.
this feels like a
We're starting
carryover of
over.
something.
Yeah.
But who knows what that carryover is? Just look back at the Facebook. We have people watching, but no one commenting yet. So feel free to leave a comment, drop a take on any of this that we're talking about. But
Mhm.
yeah. So what do you think about it? Russ to the Pittsburgh
I
Steelers. I
mean,
mean, it's definitely better than what they had last year, right?
yeah, yeah.
Or possibly better. Like I know there's a camp that thinks that Russ is done and everything, but I'm not sure. I kind of felt like last year was more on Sean Payton than it was on Russell Wilson.
I was just going to ask you. I was just going to ask you: is last year a result of Sean Payne or more of a result of Russell Wilson? You just answered the question I was going to ask.
I
So,
mean, we'll find out this year, but
yeah,
I
I
think Russ
mean,
will do well there.
I think so too. I think this might be the Baker Mayfield resurgence for him.
Well, to be fair, Baker Mayfield never was it at any point in time. Like, it's not like Baker Mayfield
Yeah,
has won a Super Bowl
yeah,
or ever been called one of the top five quarterbacks in the
yeah.
league.
But the Super Bowl that Russ won, he was carried by the Legion of Boom.
Okay, yeah, no,
He
that's
was
fair enough. But
carried by his defense in that one.
yeah, you know what though? It's like it's not like
Oh
Russ
yeah,
Russ at times was considered
yes,
a top five quarterback in the
he
NFL.
was. Mm-hmm.
So I'll give him a pass on that one. Maybe I should. I'm
Uh,
not saying that he's definitely going to succeed in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has a culture.
yeah,
Whether you love or hate the Steelers, Pittsburgh has a culture of winning. They have a culture of discipline. They have a culture
yeah.
of caring. And I know that every Cleveland Browns fan that's listening to this right now is cursing my name, and I know there's probably Cleveland Brown fans that are going to see this because my wife being from Ohio and whatnot. But but it is what it is. Like if
Yeah.
the
I
Browns are the villains and the Steelers are the heroes in the Brown Steelers relationship. Um, just look at the way they've run their franchises for
mhm.
decades now. But anywho, it is what it is. I'm not taking sides because obviously, well, no, I have to take sides because when Cleveland plays Pittsburgh, I have to root for the Browns. But I'm comfortable acknowledging that I'm rooting for the villain when I say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
I could root for a good villain. I could root for a guy who removes someone's helmet and smacks them over the head with it, for the right reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
um, honestly, I love Miles Garrett as a player. So I think he's dirty, but no, but I think he's great. So, but yeah, um, I kind of tangent and went off there. So I don't know. Like, does this put where does this put the Steelers in relation to the Ravens? So this doesn't put the Steelers over the top,
No,
and it definitely
no.
doesn't. it definitely doesn't put them into any real conversations with the Chiefs at all. So
Yeah, yeah.
Pittsburgh's got a lot more to do as far as, but even getting back into the division, but reestablishing themselves as a playoff team for the next few years. They probably did enough to do that at this point in time. I mentioned it before you got onto the show, and I know we haven't mentioned Josh Jacobs or Aaron Jones yet at this point in time, but my favorite move so far this free agency has been the big guy Christian Wilkins heading to the Raiders to be on a line with Max Crosby. How, as a big guy yourself, as a fellow big guy, how much do you love the fact that Christian Wilkins is going to be clearing the way for Max Crosby?
As a guy who owns Max Crosby stock in fantasy football, I love it.
Right? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
absolutely wonderful.
As a big guy who played both positions as well in high school and college, I can respect that move very well.
Yeah, no, I that's been my favorite move of free agency up to this point in time. So, do you have a move that you like more than that one? I mean, I'm yeah, there's plenty of great moves. Do you have a move that you like more than that one?
No, no, being a lineman myself, that's the ideal move for me.
Oh, like Dave is commenting on the page. He's like, Steelers country, let's hide from Miles Garrett. Oh, we love you, Dave. Is Russ gonna
Yeah, we
hit
love you, Dave.
his first losing season? So Dave is that. So we'll definitely have to bring up Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers again when Dave joins us. I think around 7 or so. But
Okay.
Steelers country, let's question mark. LOL. Dave is definitely trolling us on the page right now. It's wonderful though. Yeah, it's definitely wonderful that he's trolling us as much as he is at this point in time. He definitely is of a different opinion. So yeah, I just figure it has to be better than it was last season as far as quarterback play goes. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. Let's go over to another one of the big headliners of the day. Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. Josh Jacobs in. Aaron Jones out. It's an upgrade, right?
Yes? Question mark?
Well,
Like,
Josh Jacobs is going to be healthier for more games than
yeah,
Aaron Jones is, and
but you
their impact
release,
is their impact's pretty similar
yeah.
when they're playing. So I
When
guess it's an availability upgrade.
yeah, I agree. It's an availability upgrade. It's also why Green Bay? You could have at least try to have gotten something for Aaron Jones instead of just releasing him.
I mean, they could have, but before they signed Josh Jacobs, but
Yeah,
maybe they were in a maybe somebody else had interest in Jacobs and Jacobs wanted the deal pulled sooner than later. And once Aaron Jones saw Josh Jacobs was there's no reason for Aaron Jones to
no,
work
exactly.
with them at all because frankly, he knows the reduced roles coming. Like Josh Jacobs is is going to be taking the goal line work. He's probably going to be
Yeah,
taking the down 1 and 2 work. And this is if Aaron Jones was there.
yeah,
So it's that much was going to go to him, and it was going to be a drastic step back. And once again, like if it was about winning, if it was about playtime or money, that's already been lost to Josh Jacobs. If it was about winning,
yeah,
it doesn't put them over the top versus Philly versus San Francisco versus teams in their division. Like, just,
yeah.
just frankly being honest.
Oh yeah,
Um,
oh yeah.
so at the end of the day, it's there's no reason for Aaron Jones to stick around, and hopefully ends up in a good spot. I mean, Josh Jacobs is younger. Josh Jacobs is more powerful and probably a little less explosive. But I don't have next gen stats in front of me or anything, but I'd have to imagine like just watching Aaron Jones versus watching Josh Jacobs, I feel that Aaron Jones more often was a threat to rip a big one than Jacobs, but maybe I'm just biased. I don't know. Um, I'll retract it if somebody can put up some stats that prove otherwise. But
Yeah, I know. I
I
know.
I don't feel like necessarily looking up all the details on Josh Jacobs versus Aaron Jones right now. Just important to note that one of them is in and the other one is out. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So, and the Packers team is younger. Their offense is younger,
Yeah.
so Josh Jacobs does fit a little better, but the age difference isn't that significant to my
No,
knowledge.
no, usually not.
All
But I
right.
mean, yeah, it's
I know.
usually
Keep
not.
going. Keep going.
No, I lost my train of thought
Okay.
there. So
So we got some big guy news from earlier today. John Runyon goes from the Packers to the Giants. Any comments on Runyon? I don't know offensive line as well as you do, to my knowledge. So
um
I,
good, like good pickup for the Giants. I mean, obviously you're going to try and protect Daniel Jones because obviously he's their guy.
is he their guy? Like,
Well,
is that a commitment
it's
anymore?
I mean it all depends. Like it all depends. The draft is coming up in a month. It will depend on exactly like
Yeah.
what they think. Like, do they think they have a better shot with one of the quarterbacks that are out in the draft? Or do they think they have, let's improve our line, let's improve our weapons for Daniel Jones and see what he can do?
I would severely doubt that Daniel Jones is their guy anymore. Like once they can be done with it, they're probably done with it. But I don't know. Let's. But it is nice to know that they're upgrading that line for
Yeah.
Devin Singletary. Oh, I'm sorry, Giants fans are hating me right now.
Oh,
Uh,
is that why Josh is not joining you today?
I'm honestly, I hope everything's okay with Josh.
Okay.
To be completely honest, I actually haven't heard back from him in a couple of days. So,
Okay.
um,
Usually you do this with him too, so that's why I was asking: is he taking the Saquon Barkley news too? Not too well.
maybe. All right. So where is it's saying I have 6 comments on this page, but I'm only seeing
On the
oh
Facebook.
yeah, oh we mentioned that Packers got McKinney earlier. Steelers country, don't drink the water. What? I don't even know what that means, but yeah, all right. Yeah, Packer.
Drink
We,
the
we
Kool
mentioned
Aid,
that
in other
McKinney
words.
went to the Packers earlier today. Uh, the Jones move was a cap saver. Well, I mean, is it really a cap saver when they're paying Jacobs instead?
Well,
Um,
yeah.
and yes, Jordan Love balling out with Josh Jacobs, absolutely. The Packers offense is going to
Wow.
be a lot better. Uh, it is going to be better next year because Josh Jacobs is going to be on the field for every game. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with you, Dave, though that Jacobs as a player is that much greater of a player than Aaron Jones. Just significantly more available and significantly younger. But again, we can discuss it when you're on in about a half hour. So, all right, let's see. Um,
We
oh,
just
where were we? Um,
um
let's
we were
see.
talking the Giants and the
Yeah,
offensive lineman
yeah,
standpoint.
run into the offensive line. So,
Did
yeah,
you
no,
see the
obviously an upgrade. It's going to help. It's
yeah.
going to help. So, how much is it going to help with the current quarterback situation? And frankly, with the downgrade from Saquon Barkley to Devin Singletary, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that right now. But you build up that line for the next quarterback who's taking over, or for Daniel Jones, and you see what happens. Good things could be happening.
Yes.
You know,
Speaking of Giants, did you see the news that just broke?
I did not see the news that just broke. What happened?
Giants trading for edge Brian Burns.
Okay, they
They're
can use
giving
some
up a
help.
they're giving up a second and fifth rounder to Carolina.
Okay,
Uh,
so
Burns
Karen,
gets a Burns gets a 5-year deal worth 150 million max with a 87.5 mil guaranteed.
I like it. I like I like the pairing of Brian Burns with certain members of that line, like
Yeah.
Sexy Dexy and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Dexter Lawrence is back, right?
I believe
Yes.
so.
Okay.
I've not heard anything.
Obviously Kayvon Thibodeau is still there. This
Yeah.
this could be wow. This is a very nasty defensive line that's starting to form.
Uh
So
huh.
the Giants are actually working on both lines right now as it is. Um, frankly, that's the way to start making yourself relevant again. Again, I'm not sure. Like, okay, to be fair, we did have a retirement of Jason Kelsey. We did have a retirement of
Yes.
Fletcher Cox. So
Uh
the
huh.
Eagles have lost from their team, but they were able to retain Landon Dickerson. They were able to bring in Bryce Huff from the Jets, who was actually like I thought the Jets did not use Bryce Huff enough. So I think the Eagles are, and they lost DeAndre Swift to your Bears. We'll get to that one in a moment. But
Mm-hmm.
like really, when it comes down to it, I think the Eagles are kind of what they were
Mm-hmm.
last year. So there's some downgrades and some. I mean, okay, forgive me. I'm not trying to minimize the impact of losing a Jason Kelsey,
No.
and they're going to have to address that. They're really
Yes.
going to have to address that
Mm-hmm.
because the upgrade that Saquon Barkley gives versus DeAndre Swift is not as much of an upgrade, is not as big of a downgrade as Jason Kelsey to whoever's next. But if they find a good center in some way or another,
Mm-hmm.
they can talent wise be just as good as last year, as long as they psychologically figure out what happened to the team over the last quarter of the season or so.
It
What
was
was it?
Swifties.
Quarter? What?
It was Swifties. It was Jason Kelsey becoming a Swifty.
Uh, maybe who knows? Like, uh, there's
Oh.
there's one of three obligatory Taylor Swift comments during the course of the show. This show has also been brought to you by no one because no one is paying us to eat their food on the air.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not paid by anybody.
But so yeah, the Eagles have. So I still don't think it puts the Giants over the Eagles, but bringing in a John Runyon, bringing in a Brian Burns are huge moves to help get you back on track once you figure out what's going on at your quarterback position. And maybe it is Daniel Jones. I don't have faith anymore though.
Or maybe what they're thinking is we bolster up the line, we bolster up our our defense, we bolster up this line, get it the best we can, and whoever's next, quarterback, running back combo, we're set for them.
Yeah, and
Kind of like what
they still have more room, like ways to go on that.
kind of like what Houston did, and how they
Yeah.
were building a team, and then CJ Stroud came in, and look at them.
Oh, and Houston had some upgrades to their defensive backfield. I think Jeff Okuda is now
Yeah,
a member of the Houston Texans now too,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
if he can stay healthy, which I
Mm-hmm.
know is a huge if. The talent is definitely there.
It is. It
Uh,
is.
which team had pop quiz? Which team had the more pathetic free agency, the Giants or the New England Patriots? Well, we're kind of complimenting the Giants a little right now.
Yeah.
Wow, Dave has way too many comments. I can't keep up with you,
See,
Dave.
see, see. The Giants. The Giants aspect is where we're praising the fact that they are bolstering their line on both sides. They're improving their line. They're improving
Dave
that.
just yeah.
They're improving that trench on
Dave
both sides
also
of the ball.
just reminded that the Texans also picked up Denico Autry, who, like, too many people sleep on Denico Autry.
Yeah.
He was good when he was a member of the Colts alongside of DeForest Buckner. He was really good when he was alongside of Jeffrey Simmons. Like now with the Texans with that defensive line, and I get it, they lost John Bernard, but it's still he's still gonna bring something to that defensive line, and we're gonna get Willie Anderson year two, who very quietly had a really strong uh, rushing season, but just
Yeah.
didn't have the stats to capitalize on it. Yes, we're going to get to DeAndre Swift in a little bit, Dave, but yeah. Oh no, you know, which one is worse? Dave asked. Giants replaced Barkley with Singletary, or the Chargers replaced Eckler with the Gus Bus? I mean, it has to be Eckler or the Gus Bus, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. Like,
yeah.
oh man, they're both pretty awful. Yeah, no, that's a great question. I don't have a good answer, Dave. I really don't have a good
I
answer.
don't either.
uh,
I don't either. So
bring some of this energy when you come on in 20 minutes, okay, Dave? So we're definitely looking forward to you. uh Yeah, but Akuda and Denico Autry, and I think there was someone else the Texans added. Very
oh,
quiet.
Schultz, Dalton Schultz.
Oh yeah, they brought back Dalton Schultz. There we go.
Yeah, yeah, they
Other
brought him
players
back.
that their teams brought back include Zaire Franklin and Michael
Yeah.
Pittman, both re-signed with the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, we got the Baker news and the Mike Evans news leading into this time. Um,
Hmm.
when let's let's jump out of all this real quick since we're kind of going back in time a little at this point in time. What about the trades that happened? What do you think of Jerry Judy to the Cleveland Browns? Got anything to say on that?
Oh, I mean,
It,
we saw what the Cleveland Browns were last year. Ooh, they were,
what is that? They're a team that relies on their defense
yeah, yeah,
and whatever we want to call Deshaun Watson now.
yeah. It relies solely on their defense and Joe Flacco.
I mean, no, it's clearly still Deshaun Watson's team.
Oh yeah. I know.
But I think that's about all that I have to say
Jerry
on
Judy,
that.
Jerry Judy would be a good second fiddle to Cooper.
Amari Cooper, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You could definitely do worse than Amari Cooper and Jerry Judy. So it's definitely an
yeah.
upgrade for the offense. And
It is.
they're going to get good quarterback play from somewhere, and they still have a top defense. So it's
Uh-huh.
they brought back Zadarius Smith on the defense. There's a lot that the
Yeah.
Browns have going on. Like I know we were talking Browns versus Steelers earlier. The Browns should have a better team than the Pittsburgh Steelers this coming season.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I don't. I think it's going. I think they're going to be great games, and I think they're both getting closer to Baltimore. But at the same time, or is it Cincinnati? I don't know. Like I I know we're all of a sudden down on Cincinnati, but they still have a really good team. They still have Burrow. They still have Chase. I noticed that T Higgins wants out. He doesn't
Uh-huh.
want to play on the franchise tag, but that doesn't, that's just talk for now, unless something's
Yes.
happening. And to be fair, all of this is just talk for now. None of this has
Correct.
officially happened, except for the Russell Wilson thing happened. Yeah, the Jerry Judy thing happened. The Mac Jones to the Jaguars things happened. So yeah, like okay, yeah,
That's what made me laugh about that was it's the same draft class. Now you have a backup quarterback who's your same draft class that your starters in.
I mean, like Trevor, like there's, I know it's a trade and all, and yeah, this is more about this is more about what's going on with New England than what it is for Jacksonville. You have a competent backup quarterback to Trevor
Yes.
Lawrence, so I'm not calling him good or anything, but as a backup, Mac Jones is
Mhm.
certainly competent.
Yes.
Their play style is a little different in my opinion, so things have to switch
Yeah.
up, but when you're bringing in guys like Gabe Davis and you're retaining the guys who you already had,
Mm-hmm.
um, that offense is gonna be really good this year. Like um, this is the type of move that is just some insurance in case things go wrong and Trevor Lawrence gets injured. So um, the Gabe Davis move it adds more to the receiving core, but the Jaguars have quietly maintained and once again, I'm not sure that it catches you up to the Chiefs in the grand
No.
scheme of things, but it's going to keep them on top of that division.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But as far as things that are concrete, obviously, anything that happened before and anything that happened before today is concrete. But all is subject to change before Wednesday. As I mentioned at the
Yes.
top of the show, the whole JD McKissick thing. So from a couple years ago, checking back to the Facebook page, seeing if people are tuned in or not. We have active watchers, but Dave has not said anything in a bit. I think he's saving it for when he joins us on here in a little bit. So, but yeah, but to the New England side of this Mac Jones thing, is this a? Do you think this is a commitment to Bailey Zappi? Do you think this is a? Um, we're going to select a quarterback moving
Mm-hmm.
forward? Are they? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's selecting a quarterback going forward. That's what it
Okay.
is. You have that third overall pick. You're not picking. You're picking up that quarterback.
Yeah. So yeah, New England's going to quarterback.
Well, I mean, they just signed Antonio Gibson to back up Zeke, so
to back up Zeke. Oh man.
well, it all depends. Like, are they still going by running back by committee or not in that franchise? We don't
Oh
know.
no.
Like, are they trying to move Zeke? We don't know.
I thought the Gibson move was a weird move. Um,
Me too.
I'm not sure that you want Gibson to be your number one running back. I think Gibson is a great complementary running back. That he could be a 1A there, but I don't know who the one is. And someone might add that well, obviously he can do returns for them too. The Patriots already have a lot of people that do returns on their team,
Oh
and
yeah.
they're not going to spread it around like they did with Bill. More than likely, it's going to go back to Marcus Jones because he's a freakish athlete. So I don't think
Uh-huh.
Gibson is going to be doing kick returns over Marcus Jones. Like,
I mean, some of the re-signs with Kendrick Bourne, Hunter
yeah,
Henry. I mean, that to me that shows me that they're going quarterback in the
yeah.
draft with that number 3 overall.
But I still feel like Antonio Gibson is the
Yeah.
complementary piece at running back, and that they probably still, if running is going to be a part of what they do. Oh wow, how did we forget about Ramondre Stevenson? You said Ezekiel Elliott. That threw me off. Ramondre Stevenson's there. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Antonio Gibson is a great one. Now, Antonio Gibson is a great change of pace guy behind Ramondre Stevenson. How did we
Yeah.
forget him?
Yes. How do we forget him?
Wow, that was pretty bad on my part.
I mean,
Uh,
they also signed Okafor 2 to 1 million as as a tackle. So
yeah.
they're shoring up that line for sure. Like we said, for that
Yeah.
supposed running game and that new quarterback.
Whoever that new quarterback is.
Yes.
So
Yes.
while we're talking about running games, I know we danced around Tennessee earlier. Tony Pollard will be the replacement to Derrick Henry, or is Tony Pollard entering a platoon with Ataji Spears? Or do you think that, because Pollard had his chance as the number one back last year and he wasn't overly efficient with it? So is this a clean split between him and Spears, or is this a we don't believe in Tajay Spears anymore sort of deal? What do we think?
Yeah. I honestly don't know. Like, I honestly don't know.
I would lean towards I think that Pollard is going to be the change of pace back, the 1A, and they're going to try to make Tajay Spears the one. But with that
Okay.
said, I don't know why they would
But
invest so heavily in Tony Pollard if they believed in Tajay Spears. But
yeah.
right now, I'm still not off the Tajay Spears thing. This might be one of those things where if you're in a dynasty league and you have a chance to get Tajay Spears for cheap because Tony Pollard got there, this might be a good time to go out and try to get a Tajay Spears on your team. Like this
Mm-hmm.
today, clearly, well, okay, when it's official on Wednesday, so obviously not today, but when it's official on Wednesday, actually, it's even better if you do it today, because if it doesn't happen at all, then
Yeah.
but yeah, so not that this is a fantasy football podcast or anything, but
No,
I'm
no.
just throwing that out there. I kind of like the pickup at this point in time. And since we're still talking about running back, DeAndre Swift in Chicago, Dave thinks it's going to be a top 10 season for DeAndre Swift in Chicago. What are you feeling?
Uh, it's a great upgrade for us,
Okay.
honestly. Well, we were
You're
pretty
a
much
Bears fan. Don't say it's a great upgrade for us,
okay,
honestly.
okay, okay,
Say it
fine.
like you mean it. I want to hear you
Hold on,
channel your
hold on,
inner
hold
Dom
on.
Bear. Come on
um,
now.
hold on. It's the best thing to happen in Chicago at the running back position since Devin Hester was in the Hall of Fame. There we go.
See now I feel like it's more like it's the best thing to ever happen in Chicago sports since Michael Jordan won his sixth NBA finals. Or like
It I wouldn't go that far, but it's up there. It's
oh yeah, the Cubs won a World Series in
yeah,
there too,
yeah,
didn't
yeah. Cubs winning a world, yeah, Cubs winning a World Series since then. So yeah. But I
Ooh, Dave's got spicy takes. What if New England traded for Fields? That draft. Well, he thinks New England is he thinks New England is trading for Fields. This is a spicy one. I like it.
that is spicy. It's even spicy around here. Is that talk? So
Yeah, Dave is calling you out. He's like, how am I going to be repping your team better than you?
well, because we have to look at it from the whole standpoint of where does this leave? I mean, I know Dante Foreman is probably out because your most teams only run three running backs. Are they trading Khalil Herbert and just going him and going Swift and Roshan?
Yeah, no,
Possibly.
that's kind of crazy in my mind too, because I honestly had believed a lot in Roshan Johnson,
Yeah.
and this basically makes it pretty clear that yeah, my belief in Roshan Johnson was just misplaced. So
Yeah. Because this is the same type of back that Roshan is.
yeah, no, this is basically Roshan Johnson not being anything as long as he's the Chicago Bear. But
But I
yeah, no,
mean,
DeAndre Swift is the best thing for Chicago running backs in sweetness, right?
yeah. I mean, we really haven't. I mean,
you know,
I know I'm going down the list right now in my head. Since sweetness, possibly, yeah. More, I would put a good, mm,
it all depends
yeah,
how healthy he stays, right?
yes. I mean, we had Benson in there, we had Forte. I mean, but they're not to that level that
I mean,
they're.
Forte was okay. I was saying it tongue in cheek. I should have
I
I
know
should have said Dob Bears after it, but
the Bears, the Bears.
we're giving you an opportunity to
But
really
I mean,
your team,
that's
but
the thing.
you ain't
Well,
taking it.
the Bears. But here's my best thing is pretty much with the Bears is what they've done in the trench too. Like I mean, like they bolstered up their defense by signing Jalen. Obviously,
Also,
um,
Kevin Byard. You
yeah,
missed the
Kevin
Kevin Byard.
Byard as a replacement for Eddie Jackson. I
Yep.
mean, you're shoring up your defense. We're pretty much an edge away from okay. This is pretty much set. Um, Offensive line, we just picked up Bates from Buffalo. I mean, a good athlete all around, could play both the pulling guard and center in Shane Waldron's offense because we know how much he likes that pulling guard. So,
How much is he like that pulling guard?
he loves that pulling guard. On a scale of 1 to 1,000,000, affinity.
Oh man.
Well, no, but I mean, I'm kind of stoked because of DeAndre Swift because it gives us an actual a decent pass catching running back.
I'm kind of stoked that within like a minute and a half span, we used the phrase pulling guard like 4 times. Come on now. So,
Pulling
you
guard,
want to
pulling
pull that
guard.
guard a little too much. Oh man.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I went there.
No, but like you said with the whole with the whole Patriots thing, and maybe they're trading for Fields.
Maybe.
I I mean that's a hot topic here in Chicago. I mean, you have people who are on the Fields bandwagon, and then you have people who are like, it's Caleb Williams or bust.
Okay.
Like you get Caleb Williams, and you're definitely going to the Super Bowl. That's what people think here.
Ooh. Ooh. I'm okay. That's not what we're talking about right now.
No, I know. But
I,
DeAndre Swift, no matter who your quarterback is, DeAndre Swift is a good piece to put back there with whoever it is. But my
yeah,
question is, where are they trading the rookie contract of Roshan somewhere, or are they trying to trade away Khalil Herbert,
I don't know. We'll
or
find
or,
out.
or maybe he'll put Khalil Herbert as a return guy because he does have a little bit of speed there still.
Maybe. Who knows? I'm not going to
Ooh,
begin to figure that out yet. Looks like you just saw something that you liked. What do you like that you saw?
Eckler signing a 2-year deal with the Commanders.
Yep. Okay. So Austin Eckler, Washington Commanders. We got Sam Howell. Yeah, Eckler's going to catch a lot of passes wherever he went.
Yeah, yeah.
That receiving core, I has not lived up to their billing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
They
agree.
still
I
have
agree.
all the talent in the world. This could be the type of thing that really helps that receiving core take the next step because now you have to be careful of Eckler. And I get
Yeah.
it, Eckler's old, and I get it that expecting Eckler's productivity to be where it's been is especially with an offensive line that isn't as good as the one he's had the last few years. So,
Yes. Yeah.
but with that said, Eckler just needs to be a complementary piece to Brian Robinson
Mm-hmm.
and whatever they decide to do there. Um, I kind of like the fit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. I like it.
Um,
I was curious where he was going out of everyone that was
it's
still
still
left.
Washington's made some moves that are a little name based, splashy for the sake of being splashy. It feels, but with Frankie Louvu on, I don't know. Like, yeah, no, Frankie Louvu is really good against the pass, and Eckler is a really good pass catching running back, and so obviously the two of them will be seeing each other some in practice, but I I'm probably not as excited for the Commanders' moves as as I probably should be. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, that
I'm
makes
not
sense.
sure what it is that gives me the pause or the hesitation because I really should be looking at Frankie Louvu and Austin Eckler being great moves for the Commanders and next step type stuff. But I still don't know who the Commanders are. I still am not sure what the identity of the Commanders is at this point in time. And maybe I'm just not over the fact that they got rid of both Chase Young and Montez Sweat and have left me befuddled since that point in time. I believe that Howell is definitely their answer for the future, and they have some really strong talent in the receiving core. But I don't know. Why should I be more sold on the Washington Commanders than I am?
Honestly, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of in agreement with me then.
I kind of am.
Oh, excuse me. I
It
need some water.
it's a good piece for them. Like you were saying, it's a good piece. It fits.
Yeah, I mean
If
it fits.
it fits.
But this wasn't one of these spots where we were like, oh man, I'm hoping Austin Eckler lands here. This wasn't one of those like sexy free agency landing spots. This is it fits. And I feel like we should be I feel like I should be more excited for Austin Eckler ending up somewhere than I am hearing the Commander news, but at the same time, I guess it's good news. All right. So enough beating that down into the ground. Um, the Panthers traded Ryan Burns. Let's see. I'm looking at the most recent stuff. There's the Burns thing that you reported earlier.
Mm-hmm.
A win for all final. Free agent guard. The Raiders brought in free agent guard Jermaine uh Alumunar. Okay. Oh no. He signed with the Giants. So the Giants add another free agent guard. I don't know him, but I guess if he's getting 2 years, 14 million, he's pretty decent. Do you know anything about Jermaine Eluemunor? Man, I can't pronounce.
Jermaine, what was it spelled again?
Eluemunor.
Elu Illuminor?
Okay, so I guess I was close enough.
Yeah.
So the Giants brought in more help
Jeez.
on that defensive line, on that offensive line. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the Titans are bringing. It looks like the Titans deal of Chidobe Awuzie is going to be 3 years, 36 million. So they're really shoring that up. I saw earlier today another cornerback news that Sean Murphy Bunting is headed to the Arizona Cardinals. Any comments on any of those so far? So the Giants are definitely buffing up that defensive line. So that is the
Mm-hmm.
defensive line, offensive line, both
Yeah.
sides, both
Yeah.
lines. They're doing things on both lines. Yes, it's very easy to make fun of the downgrade from Saquon Barkley to Devin Singletary, but at the same time, the Giants are improving in areas where they needed improvement. So I actually think the Giants are doing pretty good this free agency so far. They were never going to be able to keep. Hon, can you turn on the light for me, please? They were never going to be. Oh wow, that's so much better. They were never going to be able to keep Saquon Barkley, more than likely, unless they were
No.
going to tag him again at that point in time. I felt like that relationship was kind of burned last year at the point in time when he agreed to sign the tag. But yeah, so but I think the Giants are doing well free agency. Do you have anything to say about either of the cornerbacks, Uze to the Titans or Murphy Bunting to the Cardinals?
No. No, I don't have anything to say on them.
Okay. All right. The 49ers are bringing back Jawan Jennings. Leonard Floyd to the 49ers. How do you feel about that? Played alongside Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and now he gets to play alongside Nick Bosa. Leonard Floyd is just a really good second guy to have on your line, right?
Yeah.
And he's not even the second guy on the 49ers. He's like the third or fourth.
Yes.
Um that's such a great rotational piece for the 49ers, isn't
It
it?
is. And that's exactly what it is. It's a rotational piece for them. They got
Yeah.
a guy who's a hard worker, a guy who's a decent third, a good second to Bosa, but obviously he's going to be number 3 in that rotation. But it's something that you don't know, like with him in there, he
Well,
could be
I
a
mean, is
little
he
bit of a
even
wild
number
card
three? Because like Chase Young is there, and what's his
if he's
face?
still around.
Oh yeah, Chase Young's not guaranteed to be there,
No,
and we have all the but we have all the Joey Bosa rumors heading there too. So I mean, I don't think the 49ers are done on the defensive line yet.
no, no, no. It's they're improving their defense and or just getting depth pieces really right now on their and that defensive side of the ball.
I want to know how the 49ers are getting the money, because when I look at the roster, it's like they're just printing the like salary cap rules don't apply to the 49ers, right? Like
They're miners. They're probably finding gold somewhere.
oh, of course that's what it is.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
We had a trade happen about a half hour ago or so. Another cornerback. The Lions traded for cornerback Charlton Davis from the Buccaneers for a third round pick. Yeah, the Lions could use a little more help in the secondary. I kind of like this for the Lions, especially after that big hit. Oh, they lost an offensive lineman earlier today. The Pro Bowl offensive lineman. Oh, which one was it? Um, who did the Lions lose earlier today? He signed with the Rams. I'll look that up. You comment on this trade.
I mean, this trade. I mean, you said it was a third
Yeah, for a third.
for a third. I mean, that has been their weak point on their defense. Has been their backs.
Well,
I mean,
I would say more specifically their cornerbacks. I wouldn't
yes,
say their
yeah,
their whole deep defensive
no, no,
backfield because though CJ
yeah, the
Johnson
corners.
is leaving, but they still have Brian Branch back there. There's a lot to like what's going on at the
Yeah,
safety position on that
yeah,
team.
yeah. The corners were what was iffy for them. I mean, this is a great pickup in my opinion for them. I'm not too excited about it.
No, it's not Christian Wilkins to the Raiders,
well, well,
which is
well,
my favorite move of the day. But
well, yeah, yeah, mine too. But no, but I don't mean that route. I mean from the standpoint of, hey, it's the Lions bolstering up that defense. Yay!
Lions also brought in Lions also brought no, that's wow, that is old news. I am
Marcus Davenport,
Where did Marcus Davenport end up?
Detroit,
Okay, I
as
like it.
so do I. Oh, that wasn't the one you were referring to, was it?
No, that's not the
Uh,
one I was referring to. Rams free agents. Speaking of Davenport, the Vikings added two really good proven edge rushers to their defensive line too. It was John Greenard and
and Van Ginkel.
Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yes.
Definitely two like they were really bad at rushing the passer last year. They had to blitz like I want to say over 50% of the time. It could even be 60%. I
Yeah.
don't have the numbers right in front of me, but they couldn't get pressure. They couldn't get pressure
It,
without blitz.
it was like that move a couple years ago with the Bills, where people thought, "Oh, Von Miller's their answer at edge," or Von Miller's their is their pass rush is their answer there. It's kind of that same boat. It's like we need to do something with this. I actually like this. Like they got both edge rusher, both sides rush now. Okay, that's awesome. Now go up in the now you can go into the draft and actually choose where you want to go. Do you want to go depth on that side of the ball now with your edge or your linebackers even? Or do you want to go more offensive weapons and do it that way? Considering the whole stuff with Justin Jefferson now and
Yeah,
everything.
no, I mean, and we'll see how that offense plays out when they get a quarterback and whatnot. But the offense should still really be good, especially if Aaron Jones decides to pull a Saquon Barkley and sign with the rivals. Uh, they need help at running back too. All right, it was Jonah Jackson. Jonah Jackson
Okay.
was
Okay.
who the Rams brought in. Pro Bowler last year, like part of that, part of that probably top offensive line in the league last year. To be, if we're being honest, like I can't think of anyone that I would like. Maybe there are other teams up there, but I personally felt like Detroit had the top offensive line. And the Rams also brought in Colby Parkinson at tight end. Not that big of a move in my opinion, but yeah. But yeah, no, it's again, they're making moves. They don't make a
Yeah.
ton of moves in free agency. That they focus more on draft and retention and other things like that. But adding someone to protect Matthew Stafford, um, adding someone as good as Jonah Jackson to protect Matthew Stafford when he's throwing
Yeah.
to guys like Puka and Cooper, is the Rams should be right back in the thick of things next year. Um, Still tough competing against the 49ers, but if anyone can, it is that team.
Yep.
Moving this around a little, let's see. some recent stuff that has also been happening while we've been talking. Linebacker Zach Vaughn has signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. Once again, we're coming up with Austin Eckler to Commanders, so Zach Vaughn to the Philadelphia Eagles, part of that linebacker rotation. Looks pretty good. Well, the Gilman stays with the Chargers. Is going to be making 11 million, so they're continuing to shore up their secondary. The Lions acquired Carlton Davis again. More of this trade. Will the Gilman. Let's go. No, more on Gilman. Uh, yeah, AJ Pensa staying with Buffalo. That's something that came down much earlier today. So Browns defensive tackle Maurice Hurst re-signing with Cleveland. Just going through a whole bunch of things that have dropped during the course of the last hour or so. Patriots Mac Wilson is headed to the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think Mac Wilson ever really became what he needed to become. Man, there are a lot of roster moves being done in Nacho Pigskin right now. Stop making moves, Norm. Stop making moves. I probably should look at what's going on because there's definitely stuff, but I don't know. Mac Wilson to the Cardinals doesn't have me excited. It is kind of nice though. Oh, well, we actually have some next gen stats on the Vikings pass rushing. Last year they had a blitz rate of 50.6%. Wow, that was number one in the NFL. And yeah, now with the additions of Grenard and Van Ginkel, that can definitely go a lot lower. Anthony Walker is heading to the Dolphins. So the Dolphins, who have been hemorrhaging players during the course of this free agency period, are finally bringing one in. So, and he is not nearly as good as anyone that they lost. But Anthony Walker's still a nice, solid linebacker. So, all right. Any of that I just commented on intrigue you enough to talk about it?
Nope. Nope.
Okay, just a simple note. All right. Did we talk about Darius Smith rejoining the Browns yet? Did I mention that earlier?
You mentioned it, yeah.
Do you got anything to say on Darius and Miles Garrett taking it back again?
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I liked it more last year
Yeah.
when it was news for the first time.
Yeah.
But after seeing how it played out last year, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of glad when you have a 1-2 punch like that,
Yeah.
kind of sticking together.
Yep.
Yeah.
They got good interior defensive linemen too.
Yes.
That whole defense is really good. So
Yes, it is.
it's hard to find a weak spot on that defense. Um, Adam Schefter is going to be going over the running back landscape right now. Just for those who are tuning in now at this point in time, Barkley to the Eagles, Jacobs to the Packers, Eckler to the Commanders, Pollard to the Titans, Swift to the Bears, Singletary to the Giants, the Gus Bus to the Chargers. We didn't really talk about that before, and Gibson to the Patriots. Anything to say on the Gus Bus pulling up its train in L.A.?
Why?
I don't know. I kind of always felt like Gus Edwards was actually a pretty good running back. I mean, I think it shows that they don't have anyone on roster that they believe in at
Yeah.
running back. But I wouldn't be shocked if they went somewhere in the draft at some point in time and brought in someone to be their running back of the future. And obviously, if you're willing to pay the capitals for it, they can get any running back that they want. But yeah, all right. 7:15 right now. Dave has not joined us yet. I wonder what Dave plans on joining us. I'm definitely Dave, are you still listening in on Facebook? Let's see. Is Dave saying anything on Facebook? Is Dave
Dave Book.
saying anything on
Dave
Facebook?
Book. Dave Book, are you there? Dave Book.
Dave Book, Dave Book. Dave Book.
Dave Book, are you there?
No, I don't. Yeah, he's not saying anything on Facebook. So he's probably leaving work right now and probably got caught on the way out. So hopefully he'll be joining us within the next 10 minutes or so. It would be a good time. You, me, and him at the same time. I'm not sure how productive we're going to be. If he gets on and joins us, he's probably going
Uh,
to say something to trigger me in the right way. Oh man, we love you, Dave. Hopefully, see you soon. But yeah, all the big news of recent, once again, the most recent big moves to happen were the Austin Eckler, the Brian Burns. People are talking about the Falcons all over the place. Honestly, I don't. As long as Kirk Cousins comes back healthy, that offense is going to be good.
mm-hmm.
And I get it. There's a lot of ifs because we haven't seen. We've only seen flashes of what everyone could be there, but I believe it could be good. So going back through the Luvu and the Leonard Floyd and the Gardner Minshew's. These are all things that we've talked about so far. Geno
Mm-hmm.
Stone leaves the Baltimore Ravens to go to the Cincinnati Bengals. For me, this just kind of shows that the Bengals are still very disappointed with Dax Hill's progression up to this point in time, and that they've at least brought in some insurance to help alongside him. Like Uh, Geno Stone's is a nice safety, and yeah, uh, I don't know. What do you think? This is an upgrade for the Bengals defense, right?
It is, and I agree with everything you were saying too. I like
But
this move a lot.
Stone's taking this job from Dax Hill, though, right? Hill's going to
Yeah,
become a little more rotational at this point in time.
correct, correct.
All right, sad. I have way too many shares of Dax Hill throughout different spots, but it is what it is.
It is.
So it's not like he cost me much to get anywhere I got him. So all right, and here we go. It's official. Aaron Jones to the Minnesota. No, no. He just found out earlier today that he's not going to be a Packer anymore. So we talked about McKinney to the Packers. Oh, we didn't talk about Darnell Savage. Darnell Savage went somewhere. Where did Savage go? Do you remember?
Oh, savage, savage, savage.
Look it up real quick.
That's what I'm doing. Give me 1 second.
Was it Buffalo? No, it wasn't Buffalo. I'm scrolling through while we're talking.
Jaguars.
Jaguars. Okay, yeah. So I like Savage to the Jaguars. I'm not sure why necessarily.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like safety wasn't something that they were all that great at. Honestly, their defense did do well, but I can't. I don't know. Can you pull up? Well, I'm scrolling through Twitter for free agency signings. Can you pull up who were what how the Jaguars defense did last year?
Yeah, I can do that.
Cool. I'm
Uh,
off the top of my
NFL
head.
defensive
I'm not
rankings.
really
Here we go.
sure,
Jaguars,
which probably
Jaguars.
means they were super mediocre, right?
22.
22. Yeah, that would
Yes.
be so not bad enough for us to remember them as a bad defense. So yeah, a guy like Darnell Savage is automatically going to make is
Them a
automatically
whole lot better. Yeah.
yeah a team better. So
44
so
touchdowns allowed.
44 touchdowns allowed over
Yes.
how many seasons?
This was 2023 NFL defensive
Oh,
rankings.
okay, that was okay. The Jaguars allowed 44 touchdowns.
Yes, Jaguars allowed it. I didn't actually go into the actual stat line for
That's
each
actually
player.
yeah, that's actually not that crazy. Like
No, I can actually give me 1 second to actually bring up that.
that's less than 2.5 touchdowns a game.
Yeah.
A lot of field goals, a lot. I'm guessing. Oh, going back to offensive lineman for a moment, Robert Hunt earlier today signed with the Carolina Panthers. So it's hard to get excited over any Panthers news though until we see what's going on.
Yes.
with that team as a whole. They kind of feel sub NFL at this point in time.
Andre Cisco, Daniel Thomas, Andrew Wingard.
Yeah, it's a bunch of guys who are decent, but I would gladly take Savage over any one of them, but over
Oh
any
yeah.
one of them.
Oh yeah.
Decent to not good in some cases. Oh wow, I completely missed this earlier today. It happened 3 hours ago, so it happened at around 4:30. The Vikings signed Blake Cashman.
Okay.
It's nice. I wonder which linebacker position he's going to be playing. Does it mean anything about Jordan Hicks?
Or is he going to be more of that like edge rush linebacker?
Well, then that's cutting into Ivan Pace. I thought Pace had a pretty decent season last year.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like really like
No, I mean it's like obviously going into last season, the talk with Brian Asamoah and that he was going to be the next big thing for the Vikings, and he wasn't. So they kind of struggled at that second interior linebacker position, especially during the time when Hicks wasn't playing. So when you add this to the edge rushers that they picked up, the Vikings are doing good things to help bolster
yeah.
their defense. I can't get too excited over Blake Cashman individually, but he's been a nice linebacker who's floated from team to team, and definitely better than what they had at the second interior linebacker position on that team before. So very easy to fly under the radar as far as this move went, but still an upgrade for the Vikings. We talked about Brian Huff to the Eagles for a little bit. He goes from being a good rotational piece on the Jets to a good rotational piece on the Eagles. Anything to say there?
No, it's a good rotational piece.
Yeah, like we're back to the Cousins and Barkley news all over the place now. There's the Gibson news again. Um, but yeah, no, Savage to the Jaguars was definitely is definitely an upgrade. Though I guess nothing too earth shattering. He goes to a very mediocre defense, and he's a good player. So, um, Josh Jacobs. We're back to the Josh Jacob news really quick. Oh, obviously one of the big free agent extensions going into it was the Kansas City Chiefs extending of Chris Jones. So once again, the powerful interior presence, strong leadership for one of the youngest defenses in the league. Things are only going to be getting better for that Kansas City defense, right?
As long as they can stay within the cap space. Yes.
Yes. Well, I mean, I spoke specifically for the defense, but
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I would hope that Patrick Mahomes would be willing to restructure.
Well, I think you would be too.
Yeah, like it's very easy to take shots at Mahomes. It's very easy. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
there's the whole crybaby thing and showing his like true colors for in that Buffalo Bills end of the game, and like he does get calls and whatnot. Like it's very easy to take shots at Mahomes, but at the end of the day, I think the guy just wants to win. I think
Yeah.
he just wants to continue to win and cement his legacy that way. And in that aspect, I have respect for him. So Jalen Ramsey commenting that Christian and Max about to go crazy this year. Yeah, no duh. That yeah, by far that is my favorite free agency move. Um, and enough for me to put the Raiders in the top five of free agency as far as I'm concerned. Anything about Gabe Davis to the Jaguars? We kind of just glossed over it before. You don't
Oh,
have to have anything.
I don't really like. It's interesting to see what the Jags are doing. It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting, but it's like at the same time you're like now this is another Bills player gone. It's like okay, so this Bills team, how much further do they allow players to leave before they're like, yeah, we're in a rebuilding phase?
I mean, I don't think they're anywhere near there. Like they retained uh AJ, they retained Dion Dawkins. They like the
Do you,
obviously they still have Josh Allen, James Cook, Stephon Diggs. Like it's
what
I
do you
think
think of this as compared to Kelvin Ridley?
what
What do you compare Gabe Davis in this to Jacksonville with Caleb with Kelvin Ridley?
I think that Gabe Davis gets kind of buried. If we're to, though, I think that when he's on the field, he's definitely going to extend it and make it much
Okay.
easier to make plays to a Evan Engram or give them that huge downfield shot that could be the difference in
Yeah.
between beating a Buffalo, a Kansas City, a Baltimore in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the difference between beating a Kansas City. Like until we see the formula for doing it without Mahomes being playing on one leg, it's going to be really hard for me to for me to think that a team has caught up. But at the same time, um, put it in another perspective, like I think Gabe Davis could play hero in a big spot,
Yeah.
but as far as overall production, he's not going to be getting Ridley's targets. He's not going to be getting Kirk's targets. He's not going to be getting Engram's targets. I don't even know all of who's being retained, but I know Ridley and Engram are still there. Engram got extended this offseason. So, but
Ridley's a free agent currently right now.
yeah. Oh, Ridley is a free agent?
Yeah.
Okay. Who am I thinking of who's definitely still there? Engram got extended. Is Kirk
So,
definitely still there? Oh yeah, no, Kirk signed
yeah.
like 4 years, like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah. 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 He's
Okay,
still there.
my bad. Mix that one up. So, and they're going to continue to have other weapons. Like we're still kind of waiting for Travis Etienne to show up in the passing game, like he was in college. But if we're supposed to believe what they're saying now, that there's going to be more of a role for Tank Bigsby, so that's going to free up Etienne more in the passing game. Who knows? Like we'll find out if and when it happens. But like I'm not. I don't think losing Gabe Davis is a huge deal for the Buffalo Bills because I think Khalil Shakir can fill that role. Like, and I think that really when it comes down to it, it's beyond Stephon Diggs anyway. Like Josh Allen's kind of proven he can throw to almost anyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna get what's his face, tight end, rookie tight end last year, Dalton Kincaid.
Yes.
He's gonna break out as the number 2 on that team this year. So it's yeah, this was really just freeing up the ability to feature
Do you
Dalton Kincaid more
do
and
you
to
like do you like what was it? Who were we just talking about? On
we
oh
just name
Davis.
dropped a lot of
Davis.
people.
Davis. Do you like him as Zay Jones? Do you like that matchup as a 1-2 in Jacksonville?
Well, Kirk is still there too.
Yeah.
So
Is he? Yeah, he is.
yeah, Kirk is definitely still
I'm
there.
looking at their depth chart. I didn't see Kirk, but
Yeah, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. You still have Evan Engram. You have Travis
yeah,
Etienne catching passes. You have Gabe Davis, and there's Gabe Davis is a legit deep threat, and he's not that great when it's not the big play. Like he's got a clearly defined role, and it's to stretch the field. And
yeah,
when you have guys underneath like Engram and Etienne that can catch passes, a Gabe Davis is valuable. So, though to be fair, I think we just talked about Gabe Davis more than I cared to talk about
you're welcome. By the way,
him. But yeah, no, we're I think we've hit most of the free agent moves up to this point in time.
I think so, and
Let's
it seems, unless you're seeing stuff, it appears to have gone quiet. I mean, it's is almost like it's 7:30 where you're at, 6:30 where I'm at.
yeah.
Besides California, it's like end of business day, pretty
Oh,
much.
oh, no. Yeah, big one just clocking in within the last couple of minutes. Aziz Al Shair is headed to the Houston Texans.
Ooh.
Okay, now that's wow. The Texans are just hammering away at this free agency right now.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Ooh.
Okay, I need to pull up. Yeah, no, that is a Alshire is a the Dolphins are bringing in Jordan Brooks. That just happened within the last few minutes too. So
Okay.
Jordan Brooks heading to the Dolphins, and Anthony Walker already heading there. Their linebackers have been suboptimal of recent, so
How are they
it's
affording it?
well, I mean,
If
they let a
if the
lot of
cap
people go.
space is anything to believe, they're like bottom of
Yeah, no, I
everything.
mean,
So
we'll find out. But yeah, Jordan Brooks is headed to the Miami Dolphins. The numbers look to be a 3-year deal worth 30 million, so that's actually a pretty decent discount.
okay. Okay.
Aziz Al Shair is Aziz Al Shair is headed to the Texans for 3 years, 34 million.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
I'm gonna look up free Texans free agents so far because I feel like I
Like who
don't
they
want to
picked up?
I don't want to miss anyone that they picked up so far. Let's see.
Okay.
Um, we're going to the
Uh,
Texan Twitter. Oh, you have a list of Texans free agents in front of you?
oh, well, like re-signed or just signed?
Go with signed, and then yeah,
Defensive interior fully Fatukasi for 1 year to be determined. Leon Johnson Jr. safety. Jeff Okuda 1 year, 4.75. Denico Autry 2 years, 20 mil. Mike Ford 2 years, 4.5 mil. And Aziz Al Shair 3 years, 34 mil.
yeah, that's yeah. I missed the Fatukasi one with
Well,
Autry.
considering you're re-signing Eric Murray, you're re-signing Desmond King, you're re-signing Chris
Desmond King
Boyd,
doesn't have me that excited.
you're re-signing Chris Boyd, you're re-signing Khalil Davis, so you're pretty much keeping a decent
Have
core right there.
Willie Anderson in year two, Jalen
Yeah,
Petrie in year three.
yeah,
This is the Texans have done a really good job this free agency period.
they
Uh,
have.
if I were looking at everything, I would probably put the Texans at my number one spot. I would probably put the Vikings at my number two. So almost solely because of what they've done with their defenses up to this point in time. At number three, I think I'm putting your Bears, honestly. Like for me, Byard and Smith and some help on the line, definitely.
Oh, Bayard, Smith, and Tarvarius Moore too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know the Minshew doesn't have me too excited, but it's a good backup and it's a good plan B. And the Wilkins is my favorite, so I'm going to put that as my number four. And frankly, at this point in time, like I kind of just want to, I kind of want to say the Giants, even though the huge loss at running back. Like the Rams are in contention because of the nice little subtle upgrades they made. The Jaguars, I think, have some nice subtle upgrades with the Darnell Savage and the Gabe Davis. So I would really kind of group the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Rams together as far as things that I like happened. So really, yeah, no. So as of this point in time, for the first day, I'm going to put the Texans at one, uh, the Vikings at two, the Bears at three, um, the Raiders at four, and I I might actually bump up the Raiders.
Okay.
Man, I really love that Christian Wilkins move so much.
Uh huh.
Um, I'm gonna bump them to two. Yeah, Texans at one, Raiders at two, at three, Vikings at four, Bears, and I'll say the Titans at five because I think it's a nice Pollard's a nice piece for the offense, and there was enough defensive upgrades as far as the Titans go too. So I think that's my top five right now. How about you? What do you have as far as the top five goes? Or just a few that you really like. You don't have to like them.
Houston, I would put at the top, no matter what. They're making all the right pieces. They're moving all the right pieces at the right times.
Mm-hmm.
Better get them day one than try and wait and not be happy with what you got.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
And to be fair, nothing's finalized yet. So
no, I know.
Stuff
I
could
know.
change.
It could. It could.
And there's the second day of tampering tomorrow. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I would say just trying to think. I'm going down the list of right now of people. As much as I hate to say it because I'm a Bears fan, I'm high on the Vikings.
Yeah.
With their pickups with Van
Even with
Ginkel, Cashman, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and
Even with the
Greenard,
loss of even with the loss of Kirk Cousins, they're not allowing Kirk Cousins to leave without a plan.
yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Bears, I obviously biased, but just saying the Bears up there are high too because they're filling needs that they really need right now.
Yeah.
And that's always a good thing. That puts a team up higher, in my opinion, in my eyes too. If you're addressing needs in free agency rather than addressing the needs in the draft,
Yeah.
especially some of these positions where it's not a deep draft class of those set positions.
Yeah.
So, and I'm looking at another more. I mean, oh, they've. I would have to probably throw. I mean, it hasn't been much, but I would have to throw the Bucks up there too.
Okay.
Just because keeping in the free agency, keeping a guy like Evans and Baker Mayfield together. I mean, to me, that shows
Yeah,
them.
that was good last year. It really actually worked out.
Yeah,
It's Baker may have found his spot.
he might have, and that's something you just don't really want to mess with if Mike Evans is looking towards leaving and retirement aspects of stuff. So, I mean, yeah, he's 93, so he's, I mean, drafted 2014. Yeah, the two
Okay.
year the 2 years
This
for him.
just in. This just
Yeah,
in.
go.
Josh Allen is restructuring his contract with Buffalo to give them more cap space.
Oh, nice, nice. And can I honestly say I like it when a quarterback does that because
Yeah.
obviously quarterback's the highest paid position in all of football.
And they get the most credit for their team winning.
Yes, yes, they do.
So it
And
makes
with
sense.
something like that, when you see someone structuring, he's not there just for the money. He's not there like Josh Allen. He honestly, I could see him retiring as a Bill.
Well, and we all know Josh Allen is probably starting to get desperate for that championship ring at this
Yes,
point.
yes.
Like it's
Wants to get over the chip on his shoulder that is Patrick Mahomes and the
yep,
Chiefs.
that whole losing to Kansas City at their place probably is not sitting well with them at all, especially after losing a home game to the Bengals last year.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, um, but yeah, no, you know Josh Allen wants to win, and you know he wants it bad. Let's talk about our top individual moves. But mine again, I've said this too many times this show, but Christian Wilkins to the Las Vegas Raiders is by far my favorite move. As far as other top individual moves, um, honestly, I'm The Kirk Cousins of the Falcons has grown on me, so I'm probably going to put it in my top 10. But I really like Jonah Jackson to the Rams, probably at number two. I think that is a huge move for for their offensive line to keep Stafford a little more upright. So let's see, going down the list, I love DeAndre Swift in Chicago. Out of all the running back spots, I think that he is the running back who ended up in the best with the best spot out of all of them. As
Yep.
far as filling a need, as far as both the team and the player needing each other. So I definitely am a huge fan of that move. I'm going to go to Leonard Floyd to the 49ers. I definitely appreciate that move a lot. And hmm, there's plenty of places to go for this last one. So yeah, no, I'm not going to go like I like the Jacobs and the Cousins moves, but I'm going Aziz Al-Shaair
Yep.
to the Houston Texans for my number five. So it's going to be Wilkins to the Raiders, followed by Jackson to the Rams, followed by Swift to the Bears, followed by um, Floyd to the 49ers, followed by Al-Shaair to the Texans. Do you have
Okay.
some favorite individual position landings?
I really love Christian Wilkins to the Raiders.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, I
my
everyone loves that, right?
yeah. If you
I
don't,
think you're
you
wrong
better
if you
check your
don't.
pulse.
Yeah.
I like I like individual Grenard, Van Ginkel, Cashman. I mean, yes, I'm saying it as a team, but yeah, individually for the Vikings, that's great. I like Al Shahir as well and DeAndre Swift.
Okay. And
Kind of like those the Vikings ones were kind of like A, B, and C for me. So
okay.
on in that position. So
And like overall, like I'm not trying to put down any of the running back movement because there's been a lot of it, but there's most of them weren't the like I'm not super thrilled about where most of them ended up. Like they weren't the ideal spot for any of them, in my
yeah,
opinion. They were all
yeah.
nice spots. Like for the most part, they were all nice spots. There's a few
Mm-hmm.
that I definitely had scratch over. Um, really want to see what running back ends up in Minnesota.
Oh
If
yeah.
if it's Aaron Jones or Derrick Henry, that could do a lot for that team.
And you don't even need a good quarterback with anything like that. You just need someone who can manage.
You need an average quarterback.
Yeah,
Like you
someone
still
who
need
can manage a game. Yes.
someone who's good. Like,
Yeah.
but but if you were saying that you were going to go in with a rookie, like I'm not opposed to the Vikings going in with a rookie because that team is going to help that rookie a lot. So, but yeah, so I guess the
Oh,
Vikings are as far as
Jameis.
teams that that I really just want to know more about. Like the Vikings top the list of teams at this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of also want to know a lot more about the Giants, and then going around, it's we'll see what goes on, and we'll see how some of the really cap strapped teams were able to get around. Like obviously the Dolphins are making it work, the Bills are making it work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we'll see what happens, what creative solutions are come up with during the course of the next few days to to get everything that's needed. Patriots. What did the Patriots just do? Um, what did the Patriots just do? Ah, that's just Antonio Gibson. Okay. Scrolling through. We got anything else? Patriots have just re-signed offensive lineman Michael Onwenu. pretty significant deal, 3 years for 57 million. That just happened 10 minutes ago, and it looks like that one's actually finalized. That's not conversations or anything. And then, yeah, the news before that was Aziz Al Shire and Jordan Brooks. Okay, so I guess Dave isn't joining us.
Nope.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm ready to wrap this up because I know NFL Day closes in about 14 more minutes. I don't know. Anything final you want to say before we move on to wrapping this up? I don't know what we're gonna get in these last 13 minutes or so. And I kind of want to check my dynasty leagues.
I kind of have to check there with my two I'm in myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, gotta do one switch over too. So
Do you know anything that you're going to be targeting immediately? Oh no, because people, just in case someone's watching live, right? Yeah.
I could talk. I could talk about the one that I'm not in with a lot of people who would watch live here.
Okay.
I mean, I just did a draft with a bunch of friends for a dynasty upstart dynasty league. Um,
Upstart? You mean startup?
yeah, startup. Yeah, yeah. You know,
I like
we're starting
upstart. I
from
like
yeah,
upstart.
upstart. That's what the guy called it. He called it upstart just because we're starting fresh and over and everything. I
Okay.
mean, I like. In fact, I mean, I could pull up my team right now and I could be like, hey, after doing this discussion and seeing some of these pieces move, I'm like going, yeah, we kind of just drafted earlier so that way we could just get our picks for a rookie draft done
Okay.
before free agency even began.
You
And I
should have waited till after free agency
oh
began.
I don't know why they do this. It's like, really, guys? I try to tell them, I'm like, why are we doing this now? Because half these guys, like right now, would I have drafted Austin Eckler as high as I would have? Probably not on the Commanders now. Would I have drafted Aaron Jones?
We don't even know for a fact that Aaron Jones is going to be in the league anymore.
Yeah, I
Sometimes,
know. Oh, I know.
sometimes this is how a running back story ends.
Yeah, I know. Calvin Ridley. I mean, oh,
Not that I believe that Aaron Jones is
no,
disappearing,
no.
but there's a lot of abrupt endings for running backs.
Yeah, kind of like Khalil Herbert. I picked him up as a depth move. Um, Now it's like, what is he doing? Zeke, depth move there because I needed another running back to fill out the thing. It's like, it's like really
It
like
sounds like free agency hit you really bad. Like,
it did. Well, no, because I'm just thinking like drafting that high. It's like obviously, like Eckler would be high on a lot of people's list where he was, and you're thinking, okay, they're going to work out something with Eckler, but I never thought he would have went to the Commanders. So that's one of those things. But
see if you can trade.
no, yeah, I put him on the trade block.
I haven't even really looked at my dynasty team in a bit. Like I typically take the month
Yeah,
between the Super Bowl and free agency to like
be
not
off.
yeah to
Yes,
be off.
yes,
So it's one of those things where and I start to peek my head back in just to look at the free agent stuff, not to look at fantasy football teams or anything. But
exactly.
yeah. But I
Oh,
guess I'll have to. Oh,
Noah Fant just resigned
yep. Noah
for two
Fant
years,
just
21.
resigned. Okay, so we have a few things sneaking in. That's 13 minutes from end of day. It's now 10 minutes from end of day.
Yeah,
Right? End of day is 8 o'clock. Right?
I believe so.
Not that there won't be things discussed overnight, but they won't be announced.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Rappaport and Scheffner just stay awake for 96 hours this time of year. So, but yeah. All right. We're just kind of dwindling down at this point in time. All right. Let's see what moves were made. What did,
From noon, it doesn't actually give me an end time. It just gives me from noon Eastern on Monday, March 11th until 3:59:59 p.m. on Wednesday, March 13th. So
All right. Normal. He didn't add anyone. He cut Alexander Madison, Jonathan Mingo, Ryan Nail, and Marcus Murphy. Yeah. Okay. Those sound like players that should all be cut.
yeah.
uh, yeah, I'll take a look at that. All right. So no free agent additions, just roster cuts. All right. Let's check back on Facebook really quick before we close this one out
Sure.
and see if anybody said anything that needs to be responded to. Just kind of
It's
lost
Facebook.
a.
It never needs to be responded to. It's Facebook.
I mean, it's where our
No,
live stream
I know. I know.
around. So, but yeah, no, that looks like that there. So at this point in time, we will be calling it. Yeah, no, it's 9 minutes before what I assume the end of the day was, but at the same time, yeah, no. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you all for being a part of this. Those who commented on Facebook, those who watched along the way, and thank you for all who are going to be looking at this on YouTube. Thank you, Greydon, for showing up and doing the show with me. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome, man. I'm glad
Would
I
you like
could
to
be
say
here.
any final thank yous?
I want to say thank you to Ryan Poles for the moves he's made thus far in free agency.
There you go. Yeah,
Go
no, and
Bears.
da Bears.
Go Bears.
All right, so
Deep dish pizza is better than big slices.
it's like you don't even live in Chicago. Like I don't even know what's going on, Grid. These are the worst Bears impersonations I've ever heard. Like, I think you might need to be stripped of your Bears fan club card. Like,
Okay. Okay.
like rooting for the Vikings. Come on now, the Vikings were three of your five favorite moves. Like,
I said they were all like A, B, and C together, not three
oh,
out of the
okay,
five. So
so it's not two, three, and four. It's A, B, and
no.
C.
Yeah.
uh, all right, so yeah, no, I'm not going to come up with a funnier closing line than than just giving the Bears fan a hard time for not being enough of a Bears fan. Apparently. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in, and yeah, have a great night. Well, I'll see you again on Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right.